Welcome to Ed Leedscallen's workshop. I'm Roy, and this is a replica of Ed Leedscallen's magnetic generator. Right now I'm in the process of tying in the last 12. I got these in series of 6. So I broke it down in segments of 6 that are in series. That the start of every 6 are connected to the positive rail down bottom, and they all end on the top rail. They're 16 gauge, 40 turns with about 0.8 to 9 a piece. So I'll be able to keep the temperature down. This is 12 volts. Just to start, we're just pretty much checking the magnetic strength. 6 volts, we'll do 12 volts, 18 volts, 24 volts. And I just want to try so many different tests. So right now, everything is, if it's a gray, it's a south, and if it's a black, it's a north. And I don't know if you can see that good, if you can. So you can see that it changes as the wheel turns. Got some strong bars. Pretty strong. They all now are a lot stronger than they ever been. They're kicking ass right now, these things. And so yeah, I got a little tying together. Where I left off, way over here. These sloppy wires sticking out. I'll start here and make these right and work my way. So you guys, if you want to watch, you're more than welcome. I guess we can have some conversation in between. Can't promise you too much excitement other than magnetic, variable magnetic strength magnets, variable, so we can make them stronger and less strong. And then the plan is to have 4 of these PMHs. So I got to build 2 more, and my plan is to pair up each one of these PMHs to a capacitor. And what I want to experiment with is, one is rotating fields. Because when the capacitor empties out from a charge, if it was charged with a positive, say in the center plate, and when it empties out, it reverses its pole. So one of the experiments I want to try is to see if the capacitor reverses its pole and charges with a reverse pole, or does it always go back to the same charge on the same plate? So that's one test that I need to experiment with, because it does matter to me if it did either or. But for one reason is, if this PMH right here, this one, either one, connected to a capacitor, the capacitor would receive a charge. The charge would be released into the running coil, and when the capacitor empties its load, these field magnets should reverse their poles. Now, I believe they're reversing their poles so they're not going to put up any resistance against the wheel that's turning towards them. So that's number one. Number two is, when the capacitor recharges, there's two plates there. You have an inner plate and an outer plate when you have a bottle, say, or a canister. So I'd like to see if I'm going to put my voltmeter probes on DC and put them on the capacitor. And every time I pulse the capacitor, you'll see if the pole is reversed on the voltmeter. It'll tell you. So that's something that's really dear to me, if that works in the way of it reverses its poles and it charges and then it reverses back. So basically that would help in the process here. But so what I'd like to do here is have a capacitor at each one of these 4 PMHs. Now each PMH is going to have 2 front running coils and 2 back. In the back part, back here, is going to have 2 pickup coils. So my plan is to have a 5th capacitor that'll take a bigger, like a bigger reservoir tank. If you look at it in water, it'll have a bigger reservoir tank. So the switching on and off of the front side that's turning the wheel, on the back side will be picking up the back part of the EMF, the other side of the energy that's not being used, and it'll go and charge a capacitor bank. Now when that capacitor bank fills up, based on its duration, how long in time it takes to fill up, we could use that on the set of coils over here, and that could start to throw its power in there. At some point, I like to see where I take my 2 start capacitors and slowly turn them into pickups, while my other 2 PMHs are firing up and they're running off the energy that it's creating. So this is the plan with this baby right here. So I wanted you guys to know that good plans. I mean, this is, hey, you know, it's about the journey. No guarantees, don't know what. It's really what I make of it. This guy. It's what I make of this son of a bitch. But before we did it, we didn't have coils on here. I turned the wheel. Look at my last video, or past videos. I'm making this son of a bitch turn fast and slow and got it going. Wow. Major, major, major accomplishment to do that, first of all. Secondly, thanks to my boy Scott. Hey, dudes. Hey, Terry. Hey, Clay. So, back to this. I like to be able to try different tests and see where I can capture more energy. I even have an idea that the center part down here, I had done a test a long time ago where I took one of these Tesla
say top loads, and I had it in there. It's aluminum. Well, when I was taking the voltmeter and checking it, when I was firing, the wheel was turning and it was firing up. You got to think about the back EMF on the magnets themselves are strongly magnetized. So what happened was it turned into electric in the aluminum that was in the center here. So with touching that and touching the ground, I was getting voltage. So it got me thinking now that if I want to pick up more voltage to go charge the big capacitor that I'm using as a right, it's like a B channel with the other two PMHs to see how much energy. Well, we're gonna check this. I got some meters coming in, and I'll have some current meters, so we'll be able to check the amps that it's working through. So we'll know what the first two PMHs. We'll know what current that it takes to have them run the machine properly. Okay, so we'll have those in meters, and then we'll see the voltage also. Then the energy used, and we'll even see the watts. Then on the other two PMHs, we'll have them set up and them off the big capacitor that's building energy off the back EMF on the PMHs, all four of them itself. And possibly if we put the aluminum ring on the inside and connect it to a little coil on the inside, we ground one part of that to the body, which will ground the body, the chassis of the motor down here, the motor block, and then we get the positive energy off the top of that. We should be able to pick up more energy to go in the capacitor bank. I don't know, just the idea or thought. You guys have any opinions? Stick them out there, babe. That's what it's all about. But so yeah, I won't bore you with any more. I gotta get working over here, man. I gotta get to work tomorrow again. I got some jobs coming up. So here you can see this is pretty shady on the just turning these around like this. I'm doing barehanded. This is just a, you know, I want to feel when I turn this, or barely can turn it, or no, I can't turn it. I want to feel the amount of force that I create between well, it'll be just two PMHs, like I said, will handle the wheel. I already know one won't do it. Two does it, and does it really good. Would 4 be better? I don't know. 2 was doing great. Maybe 4 might be crazy great. Maybe even better, double better. That would be awesome. But then I would have to rethink about with 4 running as a starter motor, so those would be having a group of capacitors that are starter capacitors, just like an air conditioning system, outside system. And then what I like to do is have running capacitors kick in, so it's a dynamic system that they could kick in, and they'll be able to go down in amps and be able to operate and run. And what I would want to do from that is be able to back off 2 of the PMHs to vary those and see if I can use the coils that they have as a charging system. So I got a lot of experiments to do, but I'm glad you guys are interested in it, and it's pretty damn cool. Like right now, I mean, let me see, I got power. I'm gonna take this right here and hook it up to the bottom rail. And what I like about it is I got all those little screws sticking out. This right here you see is my negative. So I touch it and I got, should have a little spark or two or something. Got some sparks, so I don't know where I'm at.